Peace, everyone. This is the Hoodmystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. Today, we are doing something different. We're doing some teaching. We're breaking down the elements, and this is different from any type of videos that I've done. These are this is something for my Facebook page and then my Patreon page as well. Just something added bonus for people who want to learn and are interested in learning for themselves and don't kind of want people to tell them how to assimilate this knowledge and assimilate this data. So sometimes my videos are good for passive listening. This video is not good for passive listening. This is important for you to begin to do some work. So a requirement for this video, sad to say, is a pen and paper because there are some exercises that I'm going to be bringing up and they require you to begin to internalize and begin to write some of this information down. The purpose of this talk or the purpose of this lesson is the four elements. And I'm going to tell you what the four elements are for, why we should use them, and then how we actually use them. Just gonna really just break this thing down and probably say some stuff that you probably never heard before, or maybe you have, but ultimately, the purpose so we can begin to understand this information so we can start to heal ourselves, okay? And so the first concepts that I want to deal with is suffering. Suffering. Why do we suffer? What is actually suffering? And what is going on in this world? A lot of people have been just trying to figure life out, and it's very difficult to understand it based upon suffering. And so the concept that I want to begin with is a quote. I don't know who wrote this quote, but it's a famous quote. To live is to suffer, and to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. And so this is what we're going to be doing in this video. We are going to find meaning in our suffering. How are we going to find that meaning? We're going to find it through the elements. What are the elements? The elements are abstraction. An abstraction is something that is you but isn't you at the same time. And so when we want to heal ourselves, when we want to understand ourselves, the only true way to understand yourself is to abstract yourself, as opposed to just simply looking at yourself as your mistakes or looking at yourself as your pain. You have to begin to create some distance from that pain. You have to begin to create distance from that suffering. So if you find yourself in something, the only way out of it is to begin to separate yourself. And so the elements are an excellent way for you to begin to abstract yourself. The four elements are a system for understanding suffering, why we suffer, and how to free ourselves from suffering. The four elements are related to our sensory qualities. Now, this is different from our senses. This is the quality of our sensory system. And so, when we think of our sensory system, we want to first start at the central nervous system. Okay. What is that? It is everything. Once your central nervous system goes down, everything shuts down. Like you thought you was about to go cheat on your wife until that central nervous system shuts down and you're not going anywhere. And so we're gonna just really compartmentalize this central nervous system or sensory qualities into four elements. And those four elements are earth, water, fire, and air. And how we are connected to these elements. We are connected to these four elements through solidity, fluidity. I tried to make solidity, couldn't do it. So, solidity, fluidity, temperature, and movement. So, solidity is everything that you are. Your arms is connected to your chest. which is connected to your neck and your head, and everything is solid, everything is connected. Earth represents everything that is solid, everything that has moved down to a vibratory frequency that you can begin to touch it and feel it. This is earth. Now, fluidity is how you're connected to it, okay? Generally, if it could be something that you're not connected to that you really couldn't fathom, like, a screw at the bottom of one of those sewer tops, or I'm just trying to think of something real weird that you're not connected to, like the bottom left corner of your trash can. So that is a that is something that's solid, that's earth, but you're not connected to it. That's your water. You understand what I'm trying to say when I say earth is earth, but it doesn't really matter if you're not connected to it. And so how you're connected to particular herbs and earth systems is based on water. And fire, our temperature, which gives us the fuel or the energy to do something. Now, how many times have you looked at a vacation spot that you really wanted to go to? That's Earth, Cancun or something of that nature, you know. And then you really want to go there. That's water, but does that mean that you're going to go to Cancun because you really want to go there? No. You have to have temperature or fire or energy to begin to get to Cancun. And so fire represents our energy, our temperature. So let's take some steps back and begin to apply this to our lives and apply this to our situations. Now, our earth is ourselves, where we're at, everything that we can touch and everything that we can see, but it's not everything because it's subjugated by what we feel. So, generally, a lot of people who come to me for readings, they're subjugated to pain and trauma of the past, and their earth may be, you know, director of a movie, real talk. But the emotions are that of a hurt person, so, understanding, and then the energy shows up in different ways. They may be down to direct a movie, but when it comes to having a positive relationship with their partner, not so much energy towards that. It'll be people that, or maybe this is you, where you'll work hard for your job, but then when you get home, it's chill mode. And then it's people who are vice versa and work hard when they're at home. So when they're around people, they can act a fool or cut up. We see this all the time. And so when we discuss air, this is, having energy sometimes just ain't enough too. You got to get up and get out of there, especially in this day and age. We're so confined to our homes and our computers and our phones that when it's talking about the heart chakra or we're talking about air, you know, that's something that we rarely get to, And so this is, if we were at the air point, we wouldn't be really having these discussions. So it's important that we understand earth, water, fire, and air ultimately, because air is the point. Air is where we're trying to get to because air ultimately represents freedom. So, as opposed to just simply looking at things from your sight, we want to deal with these things and incorporate these things into our senses, feelings, and perceptions because this is how we begin to change our lives. Now, you may want to go to a class on how to hit the lottery. You may want to go to a class on how to attract a man. You know, if there's existential things that you are seeking. Now, if you're trying to heal yourself and understand yourself because you're confused about your abstractions, your senses, feelings, and perceptions because they lead to suffering, you're not all the way happy as you know you can be. And what's blocking you? And so, what's blocking you is your disconnectedness. So now we're going to go through this 3 or 4 times over these 4 elements in many different ways and try to connect it to you so you can begin to understand it for yourself. Why am I talking about the elements? Because when we start to talk about tarot, when we start talking about astrology, if you don't understand the elements, if you don't understand numbers, then you're going to be guessing. And that doesn't make you a good reader. That doesn't mean you're going to understand your chart. That just means that you're going to be guessing. What I want you to do is to understand it from an internal level, base level, so you can just easily, it can just flow out of you because you truly understand it. You know, so many times we just been reading stuff online and thinking that we know something, thinking that we learned something, but let's now begin to bring it inside. So the elements, our connectedness is found in our cohesion, our emotions, our feelings, which represent water, and matter, which represent earth, and movement, expansion, and vibration, which represent air. These are all parts of you. Your movement is a part of you. If you don't move, then you don't live. And so, expanding, generally, if you plan to be in the same place for 10 years, the same job, the same relationship, the same city, and you have no plans of expanding, then that will show up as a block. Vibration is so important because if you don't understand water, then you've accepted a vibration. So let's just break down water because we really want to understand this on many different levels. So let's just have a bowl of water, a clear bowl of water, a pure bowl of water. Part of this lesson, part of this learning is you using your visualization. This is what you need. I meant to say that. Bring a pen, paper, and your visualization, okay? So we have this bowl of water. It's a clean, pure bowl of water. Now, that is the vibration that we're looking for. But say, for instance, we got hurt, pain, and trauma up in that water. That water is no longer pure and clean. That water is now tainted. And so, if we don't admit that our water is tainted and we keep drinking from it, and you wonder why you're sick and you wonder why you're not happy. Now, it is a solution for this. How do you get your water clean? You dump this shit out, right? You clean the bowl out and you refill it. Now, if we're not understanding water, then we're constantly with our bowl of water defiling. Well, it's already defiled, period, point blank, because we grew up in America in the 90s. So ultimately, we have to understand how to flush our feelings down the damn toilet and put new water in there, because it's not about trying to create fresh, pure water from water that's already dirty. And so now, if fresh water is what's required for us to build a skyscraper, or we could use lagoon water, who's going to have the nicer building? The water with the fresh water, in my opinion. Now, I don't know. I don't like, you can go back and forth with this, but this is more or less, if you want to just do the visualization and really have some breakthroughs or realizations, then my suggestion to you would be to have a pure cup. And if your cup is not pure, then it's important for you to cleanse, dump that water out, and start all over again, okay? So, and on to the next element, which is heat and energy, which represents fire. And so, what's going on? We got emotions going on. We got matter going on. We got movement, expansion, vibration going on. And finally, we have heat and energy. And this thing is all interchangeable. It can all happen. It can start off at matter and then work its way to an emotion. Then it makes you want to expand. And then from there, it provides you energy. But you understand that these things are cyclical, and understand that you need all four of these elements to be into play. A lot of times we're simply in the air. We can't just be simply vibration. We can't just be talking a good game on Facebook and liking all of the dope shit that we think we are, right? That's a vibration. You need to have some emotion behind it, and you need to have some receipts. Because we've been friends for a long time, and you can't just sit here and sit back and just be like, I like this lifestyle, but there's no matter behind it. There's no emotions behind it. Because the matter is the 9 to 5. The emotions are the same thing that you was doing before you was liking conscious things of that nature. And I'm not generally picking on nobody. I'm being subjective and I'm being general. But ultimately, when we want to truly learn, we have to begin to internalize things. And I'm not talking about just me. I'm talking about when you read a book or when you're trying to just understand your chart or someone else's chart, you have to first process it through experience. Because that's our only tool for teaching. If we don't have that experience, then we're relying on somebody else to tell you some stuff about yourself, and you are not learning, you are being programmed. So my teaching style is different. I'm trying to inspire you to want to learn for yourself and learn to how to apply this for yourself. And so with all of this stuff going on in your life at the same time, did I say anything that you disagree with? Did I say anything that you have a problem with? Write that question down and save it for the end so we can begin to talk about this. Because you need to understand this. If you on this live right now, or if you listening to this video and you this deep and you like, well, I really like his voice, or this is really entertaining, but you not writing no notes down, please shut this video off. Please go do something else, because I need you to pay attention to yourself, not to me, not to my voice, not how you feel about me personally, nothing. I need you to understand these elements for yourself, period. So this is where I need you to take notes. This is where I need you to use your visualization, because we're about to go through the elements. So I want you to understand the elements. This is not my last time talking about it either. So get used to me repeating myself, okay? Take a moment. Realize your feelings in this moment. I need you to do this. What are your feelings? Write them down. Where do you want your feelings to be? If you depressed right now, if you're not happy right now, where do you want to be? You have to write this down, because ultimately this is an abstraction. This is going on. This is water energy going on. If you ain't willing to write this shit down and work this shit out, then you just gonna be reading some fancy shit on Facebook or the internet, and it don't matter. We want you to know what water is. So write down your feelings now, and write down your feelings from which you want to be. Now, take into account where you are now. Your body, your home, your family, your surroundings presently. You know, take notes. If you want to elaborate longer, then take notes and come back to it. But we got to keep this thing going. And then now, where do you want to be? Based on your feelings, based on your surroundings now. In a cardboard box now, you may want to get a studio apartment. It don't matter. You got to think about what you want. Cause now we dealing with you now. We not dealing with what your mama think, or we not dealing with society. We dealing with your real energy, cause first we dealing with your feelings. Your feelings. Like, I don't want to know. I want you to be real with yourself, where you really want to be, you know? Cause if you're not writing it down, it's cause you afraid to say where you truly want to be in life. And that's probably the problem. Understand? Now, imagine you expanding to that point. Imagine you moving to that point. Imagine the vibrations that you need to get there. This is energy. This is yourself abstract it and compartmentalize. This ain't just you waking up, going to work, and you just mindlessly going through your life. That's why you have problems. That's why shit's not exactly how you want it to be, because you gotta understand yourself on these levels. Now, if you do this correctly with sincerity, then you now have all of the elements necessary to get some shit done. This is a late night video, so you probably gonna go to sleep. If you take this information seriously, then you have some shit to do in the morning, am I right? Unless you are exactly where you need to be and want to be, and you feel exactly how you want to feel and all of that, then, wake up and continue to eat Cheetos. Now, just using this basic format, you can map out some basic things with these elements in real time. And now it's no longer abstract, it's real. And it matters to you. And so when it comes to you and how you want to relate to other people, this is a way you can begin to relate to them by making it matter to them. This is why you can't really reach people, is because it doesn't truly matter to you. First and foremost, you just read some hot shit, but you didn't internalize it and be able to speak through experience. So we just want to continue to elaborate on these ideas surrounding these elements and continue to apply them, because we want to get a base knowledge of these elements, so when we do our studies, we further our studies. Every time we see water, we know it's talking about emotion. Every time we see earth, we know it's talking about the physical world. Every time we talking about air, we're talking about the unattainable, the abstract. Every time you see fire, it's talking about energy. It's talking about really getting some shit done. Okay? So, earth. On a psychological level now, earth represents your level of attraction in the present moment. Okay? Earth just represents everything that you can touch in this moment. That is earth. Okay? If it's not something that you can touch, it's not earth, it's somewhere in the air abstract world. You want to get there, you got to use fire to make it into earth, okay? Real quick, let's just do this run. Like, say for instance, I'm at home right now and I want to go to the store. How do I incorporate the elements into that story? Well, right now, my earth is me sitting in my office at my desk. My emotions is that I want some chili cheese Fritos. My energy is me getting up, walking outside, walking across the street to the gas station. And now my air, which is related to my earth, which is related to my emotions, which is related to my energy, which was once inaccessible, my chili cheese Fritos is now, once I put all of my energies together, now it's a realization. Okay? So earth represents your level of attraction. So now that once I have my chili cheese Fritos, now my chili cheese Fritos is now my earth. Now, it was not my earth before I wanted it. So I hope this is making sense. Earth represents your level of attraction in the present moment, and it is not affected by emotions. No matter how I feel about me being in my office, sitting in front of my computer, it's not gonna change anything. I can sit here and cry all day about being in my office. Until I get some energy behind getting up and out of my office and going somewhere else, then my emotions and my earth does not matter. So generally, if you are going through something, if you are sad, if you are going through some shit right now, but you looking at it and you got the feelings towards it, but you ain't got no energy, you ain't got no fire towards that shit, it does not matter, because earth is not affected by emotions. And our emotions have to be controlled and understood, or else they rule over our whole entire energy. Because our emotions if somebody gets to the core of me, then it's gonna shut me down. You know, we may have relationships where our relationships trigger a deep depression. And we may be going good and doing good in life. And then that person just say that shit or do that shit. And now we just like we quit our job, or maybe we don't quit our job, maybe we don't deal with our friends because we just so sad, or whatever the case may be. you know our emotions, if not fully understood, is automatic shutdown. And so understanding that your emotions really impact and reflect your life, it's important to get those into balance. And your energy, you have to understand that it's quality over concept. Any energy that you deal with, it should affect your earth to maintain your emotional balance. This is very important. So if you wasting your energy on loving hip hop, but it's not affecting your earth, then your emotions will be affected. But if you are using your energy to improve your earth, then you're going to be rewarded, and that's going to affect you emotionally. You have the energy to work out, and so it affects your body. When you look in the mirror, you feel good about yourself. You don't have that energy, and your body starts to look like sludge. Then you look in the mirror, your emotions are affected, and you can't do shit about it because the energy was not there to affect the earth. Now you begin to I'm sorry, you begin to put energy into things, and then you realize you get to the inaccessible. You get to the most important point, which is air. You know, I can go outside right now and want air. I want to feel some wind right now. I have no control over that. No human being has control over the wind. It's either windy or it's not. So it's important to recognize that your breath is important. You may neglect this fact, but if you stop breathing, you will not live. So, understanding and doing your research on deeper breathing, concentrating on your breath means concentrating on your life, means concentrating on your spirit, means concentrating on your energy, concentrating on your problems, concentrating on your issues is a result of no energy. And I'm not trying to preach or to give you, I don't know, I'm trying to help you understand these elements for yourself. Now, if everything is a-okay with you, my apologies. But I generally want to speak to things that you may or may not understand. That's what teaching is for, is to give you new information. And generally, that's how you learn. If I was to sit here and give you all the information that you already knew, it wouldn't be a learning experience. And this is just my teaching style. So it's not for everybody, but you know, as we go through this journey together, it's gonna be something that hopefully that you could use for yourself and understanding these elements and things of that nature, understanding astrology, understanding tarot, you know. So breathing is important to bring peace, and it's bringing that calm so you can properly manifest. If you're not breathing, then you more or less in fear and anxiety spaces, and that is disrupting your calm. That is disrupting your peace. And so we're gonna go through these elements one more time, but this time we'll go through it through the chakras, and we'll incorporate chakras and visualization. Okay, so I need y'all to work with me on this. So imagine the base of your spine in that whole area, from the spine, and just wrap it around your waist, and visualize that energy shooting down through your two legs down into the ground, and run your energy down deep into the earth and connect with all the minerals and crystals and nutrients of the earth. This ultimately is earth energy. And this is the first place that you need to connect at. If you are not connected to this, then you're not truly connected to anything. So, we've been learning about some stuff, and we haven't spent no money. I haven't told you about no weird, crazy rituals. But in this moment, if this visualization is sincere, you are connected to all, and the magic is already you already home. You know, if you sincerely connect to the earth and all the minerals and all the resources, and you can visualize your root chakra, and you can begin to feed and fuel and connect to this etheric energy, then that's class done. You know, no more lessons after this. You understand? Because this is where you're gonna get to anyways. But if we got to talk about it more, then let's talk about it more. But understand, first and foremost, last last of all, you have to connect to this earth, because what else do you walk on water? Do you walk on air? I walk on earth. So I connect my energy to it. Okay. So from this point, we want to journal. If we're sincere about our visualizations and we're connected to the earth, then we have to journal in this moment and remember how stable, how secure, how trusting, how healthy, how grounded, how safe, and how forgiving we are in this moment. Because this moment is a catalyst to future moments. And so this is a psychological concept that we just want to journey on to kind of heal our root chakra. And so the psychological concept, rather, I'm sorry, the psychological concept that we really want to journal on and we really want to focus on for the root chakra is forgiveness. You know, whoever you talk to, whoever you deal with, whoever you come into contact with, even when you deal with yourself, there is one block and one block only to really getting some work done, and that's forgiveness. Not forgiveness of others. We're not there yet. Forgiveness of self for not being connected to earth. And once you realize, if you haven't been connected to earth consciously and mindfully, and now you're starting to do it, and now you're starting to feel the energy, then you have to begin to understand that this is the root of all of your problems, your disconnection to source. And so forgive yourself for understanding or missing that connection, and understand that from making this connection, everything moving forward will be corrected and understood. And we begin to establish and reestablish our connection to the earth. This is something to remember, and this is something to journal. So ultimately, when this video gets posted, pause it, rewind it, you know, do whatever you have to do, but really start to journal and understand some things that can come clear. What can you start to forgive about not being connected? What can you forgive about yourself so you can begin to clear and reestablish this connection to earth? Because the deeper you get into your connection with the earth, what happens to a tree when its roots are deep, deep, deep into the earth? It doesn't get smaller, it actually gets bigger. So we're just really using this visualization. We're really understanding this earth energy and our need to connect to it and understand that that is our birthright. You know, this is where we come from and this is where we're going back to. So why not connect to it? Now begin to move your energy up into your sexual organs, up to your navel. And so from here, we want to visualize the watery nature of it all. You know, this is the element of water, the second chakra, sacral chakra. You accept your sexual self, you accept everything about you in this moment. Maybe, maybe you got a long way to go, but just use your imagination, accept everything about yourself sexually, everything that you try to hide. You know, this is a personal journey. And begin to learn how to understand those emotions and where they come from. They come from the future anxieties, or they come from the past traumas. And so, understanding that you can create a calm and serene ocean by really one cleansing, and then understanding what comes in and out of your aura and surrounding and how it affects you, putting yourself into situations that disturb your emotion, and you left to hold the bag, taking responsibility. Because our emotions are where we hold all of our anger and hurt and trauma. That's why it's so hard to get over sexual trauma, because we hold on to it. You punch me in the face, I get over it in a couple hours. You sexually assault me, I might not ever get over that, because we may hold on to that. Holding on to that may be a choice that you're making. Now, all emotions can get dumped out, and we can begin to refill that cup. Do you want to refill it with more anger and hurt, or do you want to fill it with pure thoughts? Now, knowing what you know now, we can understand our purity and how easily it can be dirty, and how easily we can begin to clean it and begin anew from an emotional level. If you were ever hurt or done wrong by somebody, this is where you can begin to forgive them, because you have the responsibility to dump your cup out. You can purify your own waters by making your own decisions, by understanding the abstraction, realizing that you're not everything that's happened to you. You have some control in this. Now, as we move over to the pit of our stomach and our belly, feel that fire burning inside of you. You can just imagine it, feel it. This fire, it makes you want to reach out and touch somebody. It makes you want to address those blocks. It makes you want to face those challenges. Let somebody know how you feel. That's fire. Hey, baby, you look good today. As opposed to being scared about something. I'm talking to the women. How y'all supposed to come at us, You looking fine today. I like the way you look, stuff like that. That's fire. You scared. You might save somebody's life with a compliment. So, not just that, addressing any procrastinations, no fire, and getting a job done, doing what you need to do because you too busy, because your emotions have taken over what you need to do in your life, because you don't understand these abstractions. So hopefully this is helping you get some shit understood, and you can begin to apply this based upon your notes. So fire represents some energy to get things done. Now, what's your diet looking like? That plays a part into your energy. Period. Point blank. And I'm not promoting veganism or anything like that, but I'm saying make sure your diet is energy based and not itis based. You know how we are. So ultimately, when we deal with energy and proper energy, and why we want to deal with our fire energy, because the question arises, are you a slave or are you free? The fire can be blazing hot and you can be doing everything that you need to do, all that energy blazing in you. Or you can have no fire at all and you ain't doing shit. How does this show up for you? What is your energy looking like? What is your fire energy looking like? In your chart, where does fire show up at? You doing a reading and you see fire on the card, okay? You know what's going on. Either the fire is blazing or it ain't no fire at all. How does this show up, Everything has a point, man. I ain't gonna leave y'all stranded and y'all gonna be knowing some stuff. If we gonna stick together and we gonna do this, we gonna be knowing some things. And finally, I just want you to move to all your consciousness, all your thoughts, all your ideas, and focus and center on in your heart, and just focus all of your energy and thoughts into your heart, the inaccessible. Understand that you can't get to the new if you still in the old. So let's work with these bottom three energies, right? dump shit out. Like you want to get to the new. You sad. You want to do some new stuff, but you dead center in the middle of the old. And you want to change some stuff, so begin to abstract your energy and break it down. You know, write down. So what areas can you grow? What areas can you get better at? What's going good for you, but you can possibly go harder at? In the heart, we deal with an abstraction that's very important. Are you dealing with who you love, or are you dealing with who you're obligated to? And knowing the difference between the two, you know. So you just want to find true balance with everything we've been doing, and where we do that at is the heart, where we access the inaccessible, you know. So all of that being said, that is my first lesson in regards to the elements. And so hopefully we all gain something from this, and we begin to expound on this, and we can look at our journals and make sure you get back with me with any type of messages or any type of things that you learned or gained from this. Like, okay, I've learned some stuff about the elements and things of that nature. And so, I've gained some knowledge, or, I've applied this knowledge. This is what I want to hear. I don't want to hear, oh, that was good. I really enjoyed it. Like, that's not what this is about. It's important for us to learn and really have a understanding for ourselves. This video will be here so you can look at it, relook at it, take notes, go through the visualizations over again, and just kind of really understand this stuff, because it's very important. You know, I know you probably have bigger ideals and things that you really want to do, but let's deal with the root. Let's deal with the foundation first. Because if we build a skyscraper on top of a good foundation, we ain't gonna have that skyscraper for long. But let's do it right, okay? Let's start with the base. Let's work our way up from there. This is, if anybody's interested, make sure you click any links to these videos. Going to be on Patreon. It's also going to be on Facebook. I encourage anybody who's gaining knowledge from this to donate to my channel, donate to my content, because I'm doing this for people to learn. I just will hope that there's a proper energy exchange for all the people that been supporting. Y'all already know what it is. I'm not talking to y'all. Just more or less talking to people who generally think that everything is free and things of that nature, and that people just time and energy don't matter. So I appreciate you for learning, and I appreciate the time and energy staying here and going through this stuff with me. This is just the beginning. We're about to grow from here. So all it takes is a little bit of feedback. Get somewhere. Peace, y'all.